Almost 10 years ago, Guardians of the Galaxy hit theaters with astonishing success. With the function of expanding the cosmic core of the Marvel Universe, the first film presented charismatic characters and put them on a journey filled with action, humor and emotion. This balance, which carried the team through several feature films and a Christmas special, reaches its peak in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which marks the team's farewell in a fun and heartwarming biblical epic. One of the first pieces of information about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was that the film would mark the farewell to this version of the team. Great for marketing by creating instant anticipation in the public, the decision is accompanied by a great challenge. After all, if this is the last time the public will see such beloved characters, the experience needs to be memorable enough to compensate for the bitter taste of the game. Back as a screenwriter and director, James Gunn does his best to recreate the magic of previous films without forgetting to tread his own path. This time, the Guardians join forces to save Rocky's Bradley Cooper life, an objective that puts them at odds with the high evolutionary Chukwudi Iwuji, a villain with a strong connection to the Raccoon's past. The race against time to save one of the team members is the central point of the plot, capable of uniting both new ingredients and resuming hooks left by previous films, such as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 2017 and Avengers Endgame 2019. A decision that forces the story to stray from the obvious path, but leads the production to commit some slips by having to force connections that appear abruptly. This problem appears right at the beginning, which suffers from a truncated rhythm until the new problematic is established, and is repeated in the participation of certain nuclei, whose inclusion in the story is not very organic, even though the plot makes an effort to justify it. An issue that undermines the long-awaited arrival of Adam Warlock, who makes the great Will Poulter vary between a luxury supporting role and a walking deus ex machina. The good news is that these setbacks don't come close to dimming the project. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 makes it easy to overlook your slides thanks to the huge hits. Aware of what the public expects from a group adventure, James Gunn brings back the consecrated mix between superhero, science fiction and comedy with touches of nostalgia. A formula improved over the course of the trilogy and which reaches its peak here. The first proof that the feature hits the target is in the evolution of its characters. Unlike other Marvel heroes, who seem to regress with each film, each member of the team carries with them the growth acquired throughout the journey. A rewarding feeling that enhances the experience by valuing the baggage of the characters and the audience that has followed them for years. It is a relief to see the maturation of names like Star-Lord Chris Pratt and Nebula Karen Gillan, who could easily go through the entire MCU following the basic characteristics of when they were introduced. The same goes for Groot Vin Diesel, Drax Dave Bautista and Mantis Palm Clementif, who developed new characteristics without abandoning comic relief. Even Gamora Zoe Saldana, who has a plausible reason to regress, brings a complexity that avoids the taste of repetition. The evolution of the characters is accompanied by the growth of the scope of the production, something that seemed unlikely considering that the setting of Guardians is literally the galaxy. In his last spin with the characters, Gunn runs each sequence with as much excitement as possible, using different tools to keep the viewer engaged, dazzled and surprised. Sometimes all of these together. No wonder the director makes the bold decision to treat Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as a true biblical epic. There is a constant feeling that the characters are dealing with larger-than-life things, with events that directly parallel Christian scripture without sounding corny. An approach that puts on screen the grandeur with which the director sees the work and that makes perfect sense with the great conflict of the film, the confrontation with the creator himself. Problems with parents are a recurring theme in the team's films, and 3 does not break with tradition. This time, the problem is embodied in the High Evolutionary, who instantly joins the pantheon of Marvel's best villains in theaters. Cruel and explosive, the character played by Chukwudi Iwuji flees the trend of justified evil figures and is simply driven to play God by his relentless nature. With that, he fulfills with praise the role of the villain in representing the antithesis of the heroes and constantly putting them in danger. A fear, incidentally, accompanied by the constant reminder that, as it is the group's farewell, each slip can be fatal. This leaves the audience in a state of constant alert by putting lives at risk by surprise amid seemingly comical moments. Navigating between comedy, action and even horror, that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 presents its final card, emotion. Living up to the franchise, which is full of simple and moving moments, the final chapter is not far behind. Despite treading a path that sometimes borders on the appealing in terms of suffering, the narrative builds moments of genuine emotion. A commotion that varies according to the level of attachment to the characters, but which can easily lead to tears. It is with this mixture that the Guardians of the Galaxy, at least this version of the team, says goodbye to the Marvel Universe. It is curious that saying goodbye to these characters is a challenge, considering that, in 2014, they were so obscure that it was necessary to compare them with other works to describe them. Almost a decade later, that's no longer necessary, thanks to an enviable combination of creativity and passion. A beautiful legacy for a group of weirdos formed by figures like a tree and a talking raccoon. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you liked it, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. Your interaction is very important for the channel's growth. See you in the next video.